पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ रुपए का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस केवल 450 रुपए महीने से शुरू। वाव!
Well, in a shocking incident on that Air India flight, which was a New York-Delhi flight, a young man urinated on an elderly woman. It's quite an awful case. The man has been sent to judicial custody. And joining us is one of the passengers of that very flight, Dr. Sugata Bhattacharjee. Very warm welcome. And thanks for speaking up. Now, you were also sharing this seat with Shankar Mishra, who urinated on this elderly woman. And you were the one who had also alerted the crew about how he was not being able to handle the alcohol that he was having.
Yes.
So,
yes, I
would
did.
you say that was quite
yes,
a
I
big
did.
miss on crew's part? Sure.
See, usually the clientele that goes from Delhi to US, you don't see this kind of incidents happening too often. This is a long flight. Usually half of the people are working, half of them are sleeping. And, there's hardly any interaction between the passengers. But I did flag the crew, and he smiled. I don't think he really understood the gravity. But I was sitting next to him having dinner, and he had 4 stiff drinks, and he was a little repetitive. So when he was asking me the same questions multiple times, I could gather that, he may not be drunk, but he maybe incoherent, disoriented. Maybe he had a long day, and it has been reported by his family, he didn't sleep. So I did alert the crew, and then I went to bed. I did what a sensible co-passenger should do.
And since you alerted, I'm sure you also sense that, sense of incoherence in him, and that's why you alerted. But as you said that, on this sector, probably this is not something that you expect. Did you expect something like this, and that's why you reacted or complained or alerted?
No, but I have, spoken to many people on flight, and when you fly a lot, you can understand when a person is speaking incoherent or not. So my gut feeling was the alcohol is having an effect on him.
Now let's also talk about what that old lady went through. She's above 70, and she had to go through all of this trauma. And you were the one who actually proposed that she should be the one sitting on Mishra's seat. But it was
it was not possible, because you have to understand, Mishra went and he fell on his seat. That's how I woke up, and he just passed out. So
okay.
And nobody wanted to wake him up because you don't know how he would react. So we said, okay, if he's passed out, let him stay passed out, which left us with no seats. So I went to, and as her cleaning process was going on, and there are air hostesses who did their job. It's not that, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with the top person. The buck stops with the captain, and the buck stops with the head of the crew. When I went and I asked, I said, change her seat. Oh, we don't have any available seat. I said, okay, there are 4 vacant first class seats. Take her there. Well, I cannot do that. I have to ask the captain. I said, go and ask the captain. Well, the captain in command is resting. So when the captain in command rests, he basically gives all his responsibilities to the captain who is flying. So,
sure.
It should not be made a bureaucratic process. It's a crisis, and you take immediate and quick action, and you try to pacify a passenger. And the worst thing you can do is bring the victim and the aggressor face to face. You never do that.
And that too when you have an elderly person. But I think they did you witness all of that when they were made to go like face to face?
Well, when I saw them that they're being a mediation is being happening, because if you are facing the tail of the aircraft, they were on the left side, the galley seats where they were talking. And when I saw that, and then Shankar Mishra came with a bag which had her clothes, and he said, "Oh, I'm taking it, and I'm going to dry clean and give it." And I have worked out a settlement with her. I was disgusted with the whole thing. So I just didn't want, I recused myself because so for me, what happened between a drunk person and her is something that the authority should take care of. My moral responsibility was to stand up for a fellow passenger who is an elderly lady and who was not given a fresh seat. And that's why I wrote a 2-page complaint. And it went nowhere. If the FIR would not have come out and if the media would not have broken the story, I think they just tore my 2-page complaint. Fortunately, before submitting, I had taken a photograph of what I had written, so I still have it with me on the date, and that's all I did, and that's all I could do.
And just to get a bit of detail of your conversation with Mishra, as you mentioned, he said that, I've taken the stuff and I'll probably get it dry cleaned, and then I've reached a settlement. Can you give us details of what was the conversation with him, and was it after you woke up after the lunch?
Well, I didn't want to go into any part of it, but he was when he said, "Bro, I think I'm in trouble," and I said, "You are," and he said, "Oh, I don't know what happened. I haven't slept," and he was giving his stories. Well, see, it is unfortunate on all parts. He's a young person.
What was his story? His job. As you said, yeah.
His story was, I have had a long travel day. I had a couple of, I didn't sleep well. I drank because I wanted to get a good night's sleep. But definitely he was incoherent, and that's why he could do an act like that, because I don't think he even he even understood where he was, where he had to go, because, I don't think he had anything against the woman, but he was just not functional.
My last question, a lot of people are now also questioning the choice of alcohol being served on international flights, and that to the ones which are these long. I mean, of this duration. What are your thoughts as a passenger who, as you mentioned, who regularly flies on this sector?
Listen, and that is something I absolutely don't support. It's not that I am a big proponent of alcohol, but you have to understand we are competing with the international market. And if Air India doesn't serve alcohol, people will go to a different airline. Now, if you see the Air India policy, they have a strict policy that for economy class, there is certain number of drinks you can give within a period of time, but they make the exception for executive class because this kind of behavior does not happen in executive class because you are paying a premium to travel in business class.
Sure.
So I don't think we should pinpoint and say alcohol, rationing alcohol will help it, because incidents in aircraft happens for many reasons. In US, there were multiple incidents because happening post-COVID about wearing masks or not. That you don't know what is the mindset of the person when they are traveling, and a lot of people don't like staying in confined conditions. You are already dehydrated. You don't know how your body reacts. I don't think alcohol is the reason, and banning alcohol or rationing alcohol will make any difference. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, in my opinion, I was drunk is never an excuse, and probably one has to mend the way one conducts him or herself. But
because what he did, he could have done it in a non-airline situation too.
And probably a lot of situations like these happen and occur. It just got highlighted because it was on an international flight. But thank you so very much, Dr. Bhattacharjee, for speaking on this and standing up for the victim while you were on that flight. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.